Hey, morning folks. Well, today I'm going to try tiling. Yeah, I know. Hey, whatever next? What else is this guy capable of? Well, let's see if we can extend the list by one by trying to do this. So the plan is to do inside here. So the inside wall, the back wall, inside wall of this area here. And then something similar here. So tile up to here, up to the level of the cupboard, round the back of the sink, and then bring it to a point that kind of doesn't look silly in terms of that left-hand wall over there. So we're going to have almost like 2 3-sided bays with the tiles. There's quite a few patterns to the tiles, and I've been told to make it random. The only trouble is it's impossible to do anything and make it random. There's always something that influences it. So first thing is I'm going to kind of lay out the tiles, work out where the cuts might be, and what I'm going to try and do, I don't know if this works, but I've got some trim and I want to trim here. So my thoughts are, and I'm not a tiler. You knew that. Or if not, you probably guessed. But I'm going to do a full tile up to this edge here, in, and then have the cut in the corner. Obviously start with the tiles centralized so that it looks right, and then have the cuts into the corner. So the cut into the corner might be, depending on the size of the tile, might be quite small, but I don't want a cut tile here to the edge. That's the thinking. I'm sticking with it. And if you think I need to do something different, come on over. I'll put the kettle on and I'll watch you do it. Otherwise, it's reverse. You stick the kettle on and you watch me have a go. What could possibly go wrong? Now, one of the things I've got to do is clean up this lintel. And I keep getting told off and saying, why did you cover it in plaster? Why did you do that? Well, I didn't cover it in plaster. Plaster was on here and I tried to wipe that off. And when it was wet, it looked like I'd cleaned it off. It's now dried on and it looks like I plastered it, but I didn't. And it's, oh, why did you give yourself an extra job? Because I like giving myself extra jobs. This is too quick, it's too easy. I need to make it, more interesting and exciting. But what I've got is, and I don't know if this will cause absolute mayhem, but I've got some universal fit wire spinny brushes. So I'm going to just put one of these in the drill and give it a spin and see what happens. What could possibly go wrong? You know when your kids have had to go at the vacuum cleaner? Because, when you take the nozzle off, they couldn't understand why it don't work anymore. I mean, really? Really? I think I better empty the bag as well. Well, just looking at these, I've got 3 of one type, but even then, there's slightly different tones and colours. I've got a couple of that one, couple of that, couple of that, couple of that, but there are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 7, 18, there are 18 different tiles. So this should mean that doing the random pattern should be quite easy. Now, the one that I need to pick, obviously, is probably the one that draws your eye the most. So I'm thinking it would be something like that one. So we had that as your main tile. Everything else just comes off. Right, tape measure. So each tile is 20 by 20. 20 by 20, and we've got 121 centimetres width. That should mean, by my calculation, 6 tiles straight across, which means actually we have the centre point between 2 tiles. So like that, or you have cuts. Let's have a think. 47. So you could do it from the centre, have a half tile, and just less than a half tile and 2 others. 46. So you could have tile, 6 and 10. So that would almost look like a tile into the corner. And then how high are we? 43-ish. So it's 2 big tiles and a bit. I think I'm going to go centre tile, cuts in the corner. It's giving me more work, but a central tile? I think that's a better way of doing it. What do I know? Whichever way I pick, hey, it'll be wrong. Fundamental schoolboy error wrong, I know it. We're back to the PVA SBR conundrum, and I've gone PVA. So what it recommends for this particular tile cement on newly plastered walls is to just give it some PVA and leave it for an hour or so. So that's what I'm going to do. Gonna go get some lunch. See you in a bit. Right, stick that there, grab that, do that. Oh, hey folks. So how about a lunchtime chat? Yeah, I can't be bothered either. Do you know, I feel like we're getting close to the end of this. And you know what that means? It means that your next dream, you got to dream bigger. I know. That's ridiculous, isn't it? That is bigger. Oh, come on. Hey, you're gonna be crazy. But then I think, just think of all the things that I've learned, or rather, should I say, think of all the things I've been made aware that I don't know. Is that it? Wow. Anyway, you don't want to watch me eat. See you in a minute. Lunch is over and one can no longer prevaricate or delay the inevitable. Let's get tiling. Well, that sound is the sound of having a brew in a break. What do you reckon? It's looking alright, isn't it? Now, I've been pulled up. You know when the TV or the newspapers get caught and they sort of say, it has been brought to our attention that a certain story that we published or said is not necessarily wholly accurate. Well, I've been pulled up because I think I said this wonky wall, the poor plastering, that's why I'd picked a heavily patterned tile to hide, so it's not quite as obvious when it's not flush or square or flat. I had it pointed out to me by the interior designer that I had nothing to do with the choice of tiles, and that as far as I'm concerned now, if you hate those tiles, that's fine, because they're nothing to do with me, which is fine. But the trouble is, I know you're going to love them, aren't you? Yeah, I was trying to grab a bit of the glory. Failed again. Oh well. Anyway, quick brew. I've got to sort of go down the sides and then do the cuts, but I've also got some cuts around here, into the space. Oh, pull up a toolbox. Have a break. The bit I'm not looking forward to is cutting around the electric sockets, because you kind of have to lift the sockets forward and go behind about 3mm sort of thing and frame it with the tile, and then the socket will fit on top. But like lots of other things in our dream house, we'll get there in the end. We'll get there. Well, I've just sat down to have my coffee and I thought I'll just see what's in the news. And what was in the news was good old Elon and his SpaceX. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you saw it, but up went the rocket, which is pretty impressive anyway. But then down came a bit of it. And how did you describe it? You know the launch pad, those big towers that the rockets sort of lean up against or whatever before they blast off. Well, that thing had two little, they're calling them chopsticks sort of thing, sticking out. And up went the rocket, and then down it came, off went the booster rocket type things, and the bloody tower caught it. Quite incredible. Jeepers. That's amazing. But that was in Texas, folks. Texas, y'all here? Texas. So that's pretty damned impressive, is that? In fact, the mind boggles at how that thing came down and just gently was caught by the... Go watch it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Anyway, I'm going to drink this coffee and then gird my loins to tackle this bit. bit then. That was quite a long day, and I feel like we're getting a bit closer, but obviously I've got all the cuts to do. So that's where it's going to get a little bit more complicated, trickier to do these sort of things. You know, it seems easy, but I know it's not, and it's always a bit fiddly, but we'll get that done. But what do you reckon? You reckon you like it? If you like it, just type and say like it, love it, hate it, what are you thinking? But I think do you know, I think that's going to look quite cool, is that, I think. I like that. Now, obviously, I've got all the cuts around the sockets to do as well, which just, well, let's be brutal about this. That's a ball's ache, isn't it? Yeah. Just the optical illusion there was that side didn't come out quite far enough, but it's actually the same depth as that and that and that, give or take a few millimeters, you know. It's beginning to look like a kitchen. And on that note, I'll see you soon as we continue the escape to the dream house.